There was a lot of incredible NASCAR paint schemes throughout the 2025 season, but today we're going over the worst schemes, in my personal opinion, throughout the season, and we're starting off right off the bat with the number 99 Trackhouse Daniel Suarez VGV.AI car. And well, the reason I've included this car on this list is mainly because of the fact that you see the two letters on there, AI. I mean, we don't need AI sponsors in NASCAR. It's just a slippery slope and, kind of a transparent continuation of the downfall of AI taking over everything. But it's more of the sponsor and the AI sponsor that I actually take issue with on this one. So I wanted to kind of start the list off with that. Now let's get into some of these really meaty, ugly cars. Denny Hamlin is going to be our next up on the list here in the Bob's car. This is by far one of the worst color combinations I have ever seen on a race car. The scheme itself, pretty straightforward. It's got the stripe here. It's got, it's almost got a classic feel. It's got your base and a stripe. How can you screw that up? Well, I can tell you how they screwed that up with this abomination of colors that I am looking at. What exactly were they doing there? I mean, of course, I'm not sure. Is this the actual colors for Bob's? I don't know, but they need to change their colors or something to make the race car look better. I mean, it's just, it's a really hideous car because of the colors specifically. You got who I'm assuming is Bob on the hood of the car. That I don't really mind that. I think that looks okay. It's mainly just the colors, the orange and that, awkward blue teal-y color. Just, it doesn't look good together. You got a little bit of that yellow stripe as well in between the orange and the base of the car. I think overall this is maybe the ugliest color combo of the entire season. We got William Byron in the number 24 Z HP car. I just call it the Z car because there's a massive Z. We got a massive Z on the side of this race car. Look at this thing. It's got an alright color palette. I mean, you start kind of that black to really dark blue, then it fades to that light blue into the white, and then you got the white striping that follows from the front of the car to the back, and that also transitions in the color. But the overall, I don't know what it is to me, but the striking kind of ugliness is that massive Z on the side of the race car alongside the HP logo, and then they kind of just don't use the sponsor space in behind there until you get to like the Exalta logo and stuff, and I felt like that was just also a misuse of sponsor space available, and just not a huge fan of this design overall. And yeah, the big Z, I don't know, the big Z, that's what this car is called. It always throws me off for some reason. I'm not a fan of it. Overall, the colors, I like the colors of the car. Definitely like the colors, but just the overall consensus just doesn't do it for me. I think that there was definitely a way better job they could have done in terms of sponsor space, and also, I don't know, maybe I guess that Z, I don't know what else they could have done with that Z. Maybe just not made a Z car. I went to Twitter to actually ask about who you guys thought had some of the worst paint schemes of the season, and this was one of the ones that came up, and I didn't quite understand at first until I properly looked, and there's a couple of things that is going on in this car that is not necessarily that great. The number, first of all, it's all the way up there. Why is the number all the way up there? It's like way higher than it needs to be. I mean, it's bending up towards like the actual driver window. It's almost touching the driver window. And then we have this like stripe of the car that goes from to the front to the back. To me, that doesn't make any logical sense how it goes from a stripe to a really just abrupt switch up to flames like it does. And I don't know, it just almost seems like an identity crisis right there. And on top of the number where it's up there again. Yeah, it's all the way up there. We have another Hendrick Motorsports William Byron entry. Once you guys get to my number one, I think that you might really dislike me because of the driver. But we've got the AllPro at number 24. This was used at Chicago Street Course earlier this year, and this is another one brought up in my Twitter mentions that I was like, you know what, I kind of see where it's not that great, and I kind of agree and wanted to put it on my list. It's got something of a classic feel. Now you see these swooshes here. You got these swooshes going on. I kind of like to call them like swooshes. Anyways, It's got a classic feel to it. This would be a paint scheme that would fit in like 1999 to like 2004 very well on the number 24 for Jeff Gordon. It would look fantastic in that era. The problem is this is not 2003 or 2002. This is 2025 on a next gen car, and it just, to me, doesn't really hit. It doesn't really look that overall great, and I think it's, you know, kind of a shame, because I think the scheme actually like would hit really hard on an old school car back in, you know, like I already said, the late 90s to early 2000s. But for some reason on the next gen car, for me, it just doesn't really hit. I don't know if it's maybe the number being moved forward or the colors. I don't know. I like the colors, but when I look at this car, I'm just like, eh. This next one is the first inclusion of Bubba Wallace's paint schemes, because there's a couple of his on here on this list. But the Chumba Casino 2311 Toyota Camry, he actually won the Brickyard 400 with, which was awesome to see Bubba finally get back to victory lane. But what in the world is this abomination now? I mean, the scheme is so dank. It's got so many different colors, which is, of course, if you look at the sponsor, they have a lot of colors going on, so a lot of colors make sense on this race car, but that doesn't mean we have to like it. Look at this thing. You've got, I mean, how many different colors do we got on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the base of the car makes that 6, not counting the colors on the sponsor. There's too many colors going on, and all these random shapes. What's going on with the hood of the car? Why did we do this dank shape on the hood of the car? And then on the side of the car towards the back, what's going on there? We just do this random circle, and then there's nothing else going on, and it's just weird. Now, the only thing I like about this car is the right behind the number, the two kind of the slants, the orange and the purple slants. That actually looks good. It would look even better if we had a different color that, you know, kind of was more consistent across the rest of the car. Problem is, however, I will be fair and say, I don't really think they could have done, in terms of the colors, a better job because of the sponsor branding. They kind of had to stick with that kind of multicolor feel. But maybe don't just throw a bunch of random shapes on the race car. Like, what if I start throwing, you know, give me Kyle Larson for an example in his HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. I mean, we're going to keep the blue and the white and the red, but I'm going to start throwing hexagons on the hood of the car, big hexagon that's on an angle, and then I'm going to throw a triangle on the quarter panel, and maybe, why not, you know, a trapezoid on the side of the car, and make it go halfway up the window, and do we think that looks good? I don't think so. I'm sticking with Bubba Wallace here for this next one, because look at this Leidos car that he ran this year, and this scheme isn't necessarily that bad. It's pretty straightforward. It's got the white base kind of fades to gray in the background. It's got the purple number, bit of purple all around the car, and then on the background kind of faintly it's got some, are those the Leidos logos maybe? But the problem I have with this car is the downgrade that we had from the previous season. Look at the 2024 Leidos car over here. This is an absolutely fantastic looking race car. The colors are way better. It's got quite a few colors going on with the kind of swoosh along the side of the car, but it looks good. It's not too much. It's kind of in like a really poppy kind of vibrant kind of car, but it's not like in your face atrocious. Like, it's not just like ugly in your face. It's really good in your face, where this number 23 car, it's just the current one, it doesn't pop, and it just, when you know the lore of, well, here's what they had and now we're to this, and this was a calculated approach from 2311. They talked about kind of going to these more simple paint schemes for 2025 being better for like sponsors. I think it is an absolutely horrible trend that we should not accept as a fan base, and hopefully Denny Hamlin and the rest of the 2311 team say, you know what, we want to make good looking race cars again, because when we came into 2025, 2311 had a reputation of having some of the coolest paint schemes alongside Trackhouse, and just a snap of our fingers, 2311 went to some of the worst paint schemes of the entire season. The biggest downgrade I've ever seen from a team from one season to another. At least Hendrick Motorsports actually produces like mid schemes across the board every year, unlike 2311, which went from bangers to this. And I'm not done with 2311 yet. The biggest downgrade of 2025 is this number 45 Tyler Reddick Monster Energy Beast car, and I actually saw this car in Daytona in 2025 when I went to the 24 Hours of Daytona. Absolutely epic event, but we saw this car actually as a show car in the grandstand, and I remember walking up to it and being like, that is horrible. But I was assuming right off the bat it was just a show car, didn't really think anything about it because I had remembered the 2024 Beast car from 2311. That is a beautiful, beautiful race car. That is one of the best schemes of the 2024 season. And then we come into 2025 and no, they actually committed to this car, where it's just a black base, which I guess falls in line with what we've seen from Monster Energy cars, and then you got the Beast branding on the side. There's a little bit of green up beside the window, but that's literally it. Now, I guess, yeah, it follows the Monster Energy kind of branding we've seen on like Ty Gibbs' car or previous Tyler Reddick cars, but when you once again compare it to what we had, this is by far the biggest downgrade of a paint scheme I have ever seen. Look at the 2024 one. It's got, I mean, I don't need to say anything. You guys, if you have common sense, you're gonna look at this scheme and say that is a banger right there. Now, if you look at this new one, it's just like, what happened? They forgot to design the race car. They threw the sponsorship on. It was 3 in the morning. They hit save as, export to PNG, and then they completely forgot to design the race car. and this is what we got. Now, before we jump into the worst scheme of the year winner, we do have a few honorary mentions from my Twitter thread that I posted earlier in the week. And the first one I came across was the number 21 Josh Berry Darlington throwback. Someone actually thought that was a ugly scheme. Personally, I strongly disagree. I think that's an absolute banger of a race car. I thought that was one of the best throwbacks of the entire season. Coincidentally, the worst scheme of the year for me is a throwback paint scheme, just a hint. We have more, such as Bubba Wallace's number 23 car at Miami, the Columbia paint scheme, which is like literally just like a fish car. Someone nominated Ryan Blaney's throwback, as well as Denny Hamlin's King's Hawaiian Bites car with all the like pretzel bite looking things all over the place. There's a number 7 Justin Haley in here, as well as the Koof Andy Christopher Bell car. I actually think that's a pretty good looking race car personally. Chase Briscoe's Spring Sail Bass Pro Shops car. I don't mind that one too much. It's kind of ugly in terms of like the color. And someone nominated Kyle Larson Hendrick Carr's car. Are you serious? That is a fantastic looking race car, and honestly I am okay with them never changing it because we struggle so much now in NASCAR to have a consistency in paint schemes and brand awareness, and fans, you know, casual fans, one weekend they're going to see their favorite driver driving this car, they're going to be looking for that car next week, and all of a sudden it's not there anymore. They got a different sponsor on the car, a different color, and then they got to find their driver all over again. Okay, it's time for the worst paint scheme, in my opinion, of the season. Art, remember, is subjective. It's open to opinion, so you might agree, you might disagree. And I'm not going to say it's Chase Elliott, but Chase Elliott fans, please do forgive me if it does happen to be his Darlington throwback from 2025, the Universe throwback. This is the worst throwback attempt I've ever seen in my entire life. We've been doing throwback now for what, 10 years? And this is absolutely by far the worst attempt I've ever seen. It was a throwback to Ken Schrader's number 25 back in the day, and they got the design wrong. They got the colors even worse. It was an absolute lousy attempt, and I hated it. What was more frustrating was Chase Elliott was one of the drivers also complaining about throwback weekend being like old and over with, and then they show up with this abomination of a paint scheme. It was just downright disrespectful to the throwback weekend. The only thing they got right on this car is that there's white on the front of the car. That's literally all they got correct. The design, well, the front bumper is kind of accurate, and then the side of the car, you know, instead of a green stripe going all along the car, well, no, they did the green stripe, but then they also decided they were gonna get fancy with it and do these you know, kind of swooshes over the front in the rear wheel well. which is not a thing in the car that they were throwing it back to. And then the base of the car is gray, completely inaccurate as well. The color of the number is inaccurate, and it looks almost like the number color kind of looks like vomit I did like in 2019. Anyways, it looks horrible. It's just downright terrible. I mean, the color combo, you can make those colors work together. I am confident in that. We have seen some fantastic Chase Elliott Universe paint schemes, but with the way the design of this car is alongside the colors, it looks downright horrible in that way, on top of just the absolute embarrassment and disrespect of a throwback to Ken Schrader's number 25 car. And I had beef with this all season long because of the fact that Chase Elliott complained about throwback weekend being overdone, and then the same driver, obviously he's not in control of the paint scheme, I'm sure, but it doesn't matter. That 9 car showed up with the worst scheme I've ever seen for throwback weekend. You guys let me know if you agree with that one or not. I feel like that one's going to be a polarizing one. I think my sub count is probably going to drop here today. Maybe not a smart play, especially in January, start of 2026. It's a year of being humble, and we're humbling this 9 car here today. That's going to do it for me. You let me know down below if you agree or disagree with my takes. I'm sure I missed some. I went through and looked through the majority of the paint schemes of the 2025 season, and honestly, a lot of them are either fantastic or they're just okay, which I'm okay with an okay paint scheme. It really honestly took a good effort to find schemes I didn't like. I knew this one was going to be on there literally from when we ran the throwback race, but outside of that, it was actually a bit of a challenge to find some, and you guys on Twitter did a good help with me. I might do a video going forward on maybe as well some of the best paint schemes of the season, because I think there's some serious contenders for that as well, and it's going to be way more of a close show and close competition than worst scheme of the year. Yeah, we don't need to talk about this. I just hit my green screen. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys later. You take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Have a great day.